The fuck going on in this motherfucking bitch? They call me the Black Charlie Sheen, aka One Chains. I'm also known as Fitness Trainer Mr. Train Your Girl. Should be doing squats all over my dick. In some circles, I'm just simply known as Dadon, Dadon, Dadon. Sometimes they even call me Rollion Papis. The way I roll up the opposition and smoke it, you know what I'm saying? Week 1 of the Shuckle Premier League. It is here, boys. Draft League number 3 for your boy, the Dawn. We're going up against ShuckleKing in the Shuckle Premier League. A whole bunch of Shuckles, but I don't see no Shuckle on my screen. The fuck is going on? Now look, let's talk about the matchup. The game is going up tomorrow. It's week 1. We're going in with our new team, the momentum-based team, more balanced than last time. And I can tell you that this matchup is looking like shit, brother. Just look at this. So, technically, it looks like Shizor should be able to put in a lot of work, right? Should be able to potentially set up and clean. But in this case, I need to deal with potentially Terra Poison Umbreon, which I think it makes the most sense for it to be Terra Poison, because I can't really beat it with any of my Pokemon. And then I have to deal with Chomp, right? Because Chomp can outspeed Fire Blast. It doesn't die to +2 Bullet Punch unless it's, you know, really low. So we have to weaken the Chomp first. Obviously, rough skin damage and all that crap. And we have to deal with Umbreon. So our best win con is actually stopped by a lot of things, because weakening Garchomp would be a bit of an issue without actually sacking anything, right? So we would have to rely on Zapdos to beat the Chomp or even weaken it. That would be like the minimum casualties, if that makes sense, right? But if Garchomp is SD Stone Edge, for example, then we're just, you know, we're screwed with Zapdos because we have to rely on Hurricanes, so that's not good. Meowscarada is a bit of a threat too, so we need Zapdos to beat Meowscarada, but we also need Zapdos to beat Chomp. Otherwise, we just have to sack 1 or 2 Pokemon to just put it in range of +2 Bullet Punch. Setting up is also problematic. As you can see, he has a Talonflame as well, so Talonflame stops the Scizor sweep as well. All in all, it looks like my defensive Pokemon get abused pretty easily in terms of Sandaconda, Florges. Scarf and Amorous is a big threat, really big threat. Obviously, we can outspeed it with Scarf Gengar, that's good, but he has an Umbreon. Umbreon is pretty much going to be the main way of him getting, I won't say getting progress, but actually just being able to wall most of my team and just toxic spam without missing with Terra Poison against everything, you know what I mean? Monkey Dory is actually a threat too, because Monkey Dory can get several opportunities to set up, and in this case, I would probably have to sack a Pokemon as well. So all in all, like, I don't really see the clearest of paths of breaking this team. Like, it has very good, I'm not saying counter team, but you see that it's very problematic to just play around all of this, and then switching into shit is also not the best for me, you know? I don't switch into Garchomp at all. As I said, if it's SD Stone Edge, we're fucked. I don't switch in too well to an Amorous, right? Because we have Shizor, but it can always go for Mystical Fire. Like, yes, we can have Florges, but Florges gets abused. You know, Florges loses to Umbreon, of course, if it's Terra Poison. And just all in all, it's looking a little bit rough. A little bit rough, but we're the Mafia. So we're gonna pull through, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna come through, you know what I'm saying? Look what Mav has cooked up. Mav has cooked up some fire shit. Oh, I can tell you that I'm going through a very difficult period of my life right now, to be honest. Things are very, very bad. It's the worst they've been since I moved away from Russia, you know, so I don't think I would be able to make an intro for tomorrow, unfortunately. And I don't even know, like, how the commentary would go for this as well. I am, unfortunately, not in the right mind state. But I'm definitely not stepping away from a league, you know. I'm here with the Mafia family. We're in this together, in good times, in bad times, all right? So I, in advance, apologize for any I guess, underperformance in terms of content, okay? And potentially battling. You know, we'll see. So we got Scarf Passimian. Scarf Passimian is going to be unbelievably important in this because Terra Ground would be able to let us somewhat beat Umbreon, Terra Poison Umbreon. So we opted for this because Terra Ice looked actually decent against this team, as you can see. Against the top 3, Terra Ice just kind of like sweeps, right? But if an Amarys is Scarfed, which it should be, because it doesn't make sense for it not to be Scarfed against me, then, you know, it outspeeds me anyways. So, like, being weak to rocks as well won't be too good because we don't have any removal, you know what I mean? And so in this case, we're bringing Scarf. Rock Slide seems pretty good late game as well, you know, obviously close combat, U-turn. Samurott, we opted with this set. I was thinking of running another Scarfer. By the way, we have 2 Scarfers in this team. I was thinking of running triple Scarf, but I think it's just a little bit too much. We have SD. This is basically to do as much damage as possible to Umbreon and also set up hazards, okay? So this would be our answer to Umbreon. We would go into this immediately, try to set up before he realizes that he needs to spam Foul Play and all that. We just hit him with +2 Ceaseless Edge. So kind of like that. Then obviously having priority is kind of nice. And setting up the hazards. Fizzor, protective pads for the Talonflame so we can knock off the Talonflame, U-turn on it, even though we have no rocks, but we do have Chord Change. Actually, we don't have Chord Change. Okay, anyways, but yeah, knocking off Talonflame would be one of the ways of kind of beating it. If we SD up, for example, and then he goes hard into Talonflame on whatever reason, predicting Bullet Punch, I just go for knockoff, you know. Scizor again, SD Scizor can win late game, so we're gonna have to be very careful with it, you know. Hey girl, let me zap those pants off of you. So we got Zapdos. Zapdos is our main way of actually walling and beating Meowscarada, as well as Garchomp. Zapdos is gonna have an unbelievably important role. Also beats Talonflame. Classic Zapdos set, you know. Physically defensive, discharge, Hurricane, Volt Switch, Roost. Looks really good in this matchup, you know. Then we got Tiago, the greatest football player of all time. Tiago Alcantara. Cinderace. My boy Cinderace, the football boy. We have an interesting set. We have Taunt over Chord Change. Taunt is just to stop the healing from Umbreon and just potentially stop setup. Will-O-Wisp is good for a situation with Chomp, for instance. You know, U-turn, obviously pivoting. Pyro Ball for damage. And we have a more bulkier set because we're going to be using Cinderace to pivot around a lot and reposition, you know. Then we got Fat Bastard, the Gengar. The idea is to trick the Umbreon, hopefully. Hopefully trick the Umbreon. We have Psychic for the Terra Poison, specifically. And then we have Shadow Ball, Sludge Bomb. Scarf Gengar can also clean late game if we deal with proper things. If we deal with, for example, Umbreon, you know, we can, if we deal and weaken Garchomp, then, you know, we get a clear path of sweeping with Gengar. So Gengar looks really good. Ideally, I wouldn't want to trick off my choice Scarf, but again, it depends on the situation with Umbreon, you know. So that's the team we got for week 1. Thanks for coming through. Shout outs to the Mafia.